Join Go Mining today and start earning now.
Least as qualified to comment on his ideas as he is to comment on modern physics. Terrance Howard's key fundamental insight, the basis of his new theory of everything, is that 1 times 1 equals 2. Just in case you had any doubts about it, 1 times 1 equals 1. That's not a matter of opinion, it's not even a matter of science, it's a matter of definition. The mathematical operation that we call multiplication and the number that we call 1 are defined so that any number multiplied by 1 gives the same number. Consequently, 1 times 1 equals 1. We define multiplication this way just because it's useful. You see, if you have only addition and I give you 7 apples, you'd have to go 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 7. The operation of multiplication is a way to simplify this long sequence of addition. We introduce a new symbol, call that times, and write 7 times 1. It means the same thing. Howard goes on to write, in order to multiply something by something else, they must be dimensionally equal. This is not correct. If you multiply one quantity that has units with another quantity that has units, you multiply the units. If I multiply, say, time measured in seconds with the speed in meters per second, I get a length in meters. This is the case for any quantity, but a lot of things that you can mathematically multiply don't serve any purpose, so we don't multiply them. I could, for example, multiply 18 chopsticks with a magnetic field of 2 Tesla. That'd give me 36 chopstick Tesla, but just because that mathematically exists doesn't mean it makes any physical sense.
All right.
But Howard's...
All right, so this is a conversation I've been following since the Joe Rogan experience, right? Terrance Howard and his attempt to shake up. To me, anyways, that's how I see it, right? It's like an attempt to shake up the scientific and knowledge world, specifically the quantifiable unit world. Well, no, I mean that interview was like 3 hours, wasn't it? But I still haven't watched it. But yeah, I will. I'll get to it. Terrance Howard on Joe Rogan. And Neil DeGrasse Tyson. I did watch the Neil deGrasse Tyson, explanation of his relationship with Terrance Howard, right? Now, I got to tell you this, right? Why this specifically this particular section of the Joe Rogan Experience interview, right? About 1 times 1 equals 2. Right? Now, I'm so interested in this part, right, with the mathematics, because especially with the multiplication table, because I remember when I was young, right? When I was young and we first started getting into math, when we got to multiplication, I almost stopped going to school. When we got to multiplication, I almost stopped going to school. It was, and my problem was 0 times 0 equals 0. 0 times 1 equals 0. And 1 times 1 equals 1. So my whole thought was, and I'm probably like 6, 7 years old at that time. This was actually back in my birth country of Haiti, right? So I'm about 6, 7 years old. And then again, once I was in the 4th grade in the United States, right? Once I got to the United States, I still questioned it, right? And, of course, you got to move on, you know what I mean? And just take the knowledge as you receive it, because no one's gonna listen. What's going to happen is what's happening right now to Terrance Howard and the thought, right? That 1 times 1 equals 2, right? That's what's going to happen. You're going to get told conventionally 1 times 1 equals 1. That's what you're going to get told. And then the explanations, hopefully they make sense and you're able to move on, right? Hopefully, right? And yeah, so for the past like 30 something years, 40 years old by the way, so for the past like 30 to 34 years, I kind of, math is what it is, you know what I mean? But now that I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute, man. I had the same problem when I first, because you get into math and it's addition, subtraction, and then multiplication, and then division, right? Usually in that order. When we got to multiplication, I had a problem with 0 times 0 equals 0, and then 0 times 1 equals 0, and then 1 times 1 equals 1. I had a problem with it. So now that I think about it, it's like, wait a minute, man. I had the same problem with mathematics when I first started learning mathematics, like just off of instincts. Just off of instincts, I had a, it was like, wait, why would 1 multiplied by 1 equal 1? If 0 multiplied by 1 equals 0, why would 1 multiplied by 1 equals 1 and not 2? So I don't know what to say, man, but I'm just watching this whole conversation and I don't know. Hopefully we're not regressing and I mean, it's always good to take a step back and unlearn and relearn, or emphasize and analyze and refine, whatever, but hopefully we're not regressing and not regressing too far if we are regressing. But it really struck a chord today. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I actually, when you come to think about it, I had this same problem, when I first started learning multiplication. I couldn't get over it. It took me a while to get over it, I questioned everything at that point. Seriously, I questioned everything at that point, once I found out that 1 multiplied 1 times, 1 equals 1. 0 times 0 equals 0, right? 0 times 1 equals 0. Okay. 1 times 1 equals 1. I was like, wait a minute. And I really just had to move on. It was like, all right, cool. 1 times 1 equals 1. I'll remember it. But it didn't feel right at first, So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, hopefully we're not regressing too far. If we are regressing and if we are refining this simple point, it seems simple enough, right? But you know how math is. One part of the equation is wrong, then it kind of throws everything else off. Really makes everything else wrong. In a sense. So I guess that's why the focus is kind of on that particular section of his interview, dissertation, whatever you want to, yeah. So because there was a lot in there, I mean, I've watched different segments of it. I haven't, had the chance to sit down and just watch the whole thing. But fam, 1 times 1 equals 1. That's where we at with it. But there's enjoy the conversation if you following. Peace, good world. Coach Kerry, Cosmic Keen, the loose my athlete culture, body mind engineering. Seriously though. I mean, something just blows your mind. You gotta restructure it and hold it together. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we our minds aren't too blown, and if our minds are blown for good reasons, and we go back to the drawing boards and figure something else out. You know what I mean? Because when historically, should I go on? when you think about knowledge, right? Historically, peace, good world. Coach Kerry Cosby Keith, the loose but athlete culture, definitely on the body, mind, and engineering.